A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Good morning. Aloha. I am so proud to be here. I am so honored to be here. That see how life is beautiful. Life is really beautiful, and this is something that I am going to take with me home. Because from where I come from, life doesn't look beautiful that much, but we are hopeful. Thank you for inviting me. Especially, I am thanking Roger and Bonnie to get me involved to be part of this wonderful, wonderful forum. Because as I know about children, what I know, I think in everywhere around the world, children are precious to everyone. And the children are the one that makes our world. So it's very, very important to take care of the children and be part of the life of the children and bring a smile to a child's face. To me, it means so much, and I'm sure to every one of you means that much. I would like to talk to you a little bit about what I'm doing and what's my work and where I'm coming from. Then I will talk to you about the impact of poverty on children. I come from Afghanistan, a country that has been torn with war for 30 years. What I do in Afghanistan, what I have done in the refugee camp and now inside Afghanistan. I went inside Pakistan in a refugee camp. I did a survey. As I walked through different camps, everywhere I saw children, horrible situation, living in a very, very bad condition. The family were living in a very bad condition. The children were in very bad condition. There was not anything for those children to do. Not only they were poor, not having food, but they didn't have an environment that it would be good for children. They didn't have a place. They didn't have a learning place. They didn't have a calm place, a quiet place. They came from Afghanistan, which was, the country was devastated by Russian bombing everywhere. So these children were traumatized. These children ran away from home, coming to Peshawar, Pakistan, to live in a safe place. But it was a safe place for them? Really? No, I tell you why not. They were living in a refugee camp in the land that it was the worst land that you can imagine. There wasn't a drop of water in those lands. There was all kinds of living, for example, a snake and a scorpio and all kinds of things on the ground, and they're supposed to live on that ground. All kinds of thorn. They're supposed to lie down on those things. And you know how many of them have been beaten by those things. How many of them has been killed by those things. Not only that, not having a shelter, being under the tent on that sunlight. You can imagine what those children were going through. When I went to the refugee camp, I said, I have to do something. What can I do? What can I do to change and transform these children? Because they are the future of my country. Yes, right now they are refugees in the camp, but they will go eventually into Afghanistan. They will be the future. They will build Afghanistan. And if you live through that kind of trauma, how can you do something different? So from then, I decided I'm going to concentrate in an area of education, early childhood education. And it wasn't an easy task. Not having enough, not having a school as such, a building, living under the tent or under the tree. It wasn't easy to really implement a program. But you know, once we gathered these children and we sat inside the tent, the children were happy. When I saw those faces, I really told myself, doesn't make difference. Doesn't make a difference that you don't have a building. Doesn't make a difference that you don't have books. Doesn't have a difference that you don't have toys. But if you build a program that the teacher give love and care for these children and teach them a word, we were talking about language and word today. Teach them a word, peace word. Teach them loving word. These children will be somebody that they will remember these things. And that's what we did. EIL, so what EIL did, we decided we are going to approach a holistic approach. How we are going to work through a child, through the mother, through the father, if they have. And the whole family must come to learn something. And that way, the children feel safe. So EIL start a literacy program for the parents, and also a preschool for the children. So a mother come with her child in her arm and go to the tent and sit there, and we have several tents. We set one tent for a literacy program, one tent for preschool, and another tent for a health education program, and another tent for income generation. So it was a sort of an umbrella. Under that umbrella, we had a different program set up. And let me tell you, these women, they were devastated. They were traumatized. They lost their husband. They lost some part of their family. And you know, once they start learning, it was a different world for them. They start learning how to read and write. They start learning how to do sewing, embroidery. They start learning about their health, which was completely disaster. Most of these women were sick. They had maybe 10, 15 children, maybe from 10, 15, maybe 4 or 5 were alive. Their body was deteriorating. These women were sick. They could not take care of their children. So we decided to provide for them health education. Very simple task. For you and I, we will say, well, health education, what? But for those people in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in the refugee camp, meant it so much to be able to say, well, this water is dirty, you shouldn't drink. You should wash your hand. You should cook your meal in a way that, yes, you don't have meat, but you have different beans, you can combine them. You can take care of your children to be clean and try not to let the mosquitoes come into the tent by doing such and such. This simple life skill training is give them a really confident. They felt better. And as they felt better, they start learning better. And as they start learning better, they start asking questions. And that's EIL is all about. We try to teach the women how to take care of themselves, how to take care of their children, and how to have self-confidence to say no to things that it has been done to them. You know, the women of Afghanistan have been abused. Living under that kind of circumstance, your children are around, you are being beaten up by men, you are beaten up by soldiers, you are being beaten up by your mother-in-law, you are beaten up because your husband don't have a job, because they don't have money, because there is not enough bread to give to everybody. So those children living under that kind of condition, and the mother is not able to say no. It's very, very devastating life. And that is the children of Afghanistan have lived and is still living under that condition. What we do, we try to educate the women, educate the children in the meantime till they learn, but in a happy environment, that the woman can be happy. The woman can have some income to be able to provide some things for her children. And also, above all those things, the woman will be able to say no to the things that are being done to her. And that's EIL is doing, giving constantly training to the women in different areas, and leadership, in peace education, and life skill, and health education, and side by side, they bring their children with them. And as a result, thousands and thousands of children has been educated. Right now in Afghanistan, we have Women Learning Center. You know, once the government of Afghanistan took place after the fall of the Taliban, during the Taliban we had underground school. And we teach underground school, secret school you call it. Because at the time, the Taliban did not allow education at all. At that time, we had the teacher going to classroom, to the community, and teaching the class secretly. boys and girls together, but from 1st through 8th grade. But now the school system is open. 6 million children are going to school in Afghanistan. Thank you. And that is something that I am so proud to share with you. What kind of education do they learn? They learn update education, because we were able to train the teacher in a student-centered technique. Most of you are teachers, you understand that participatory methodology is a methodology that encourages critical thinking, and that's what we are all about. We try to teach children critical thinking, and through that teacher training, teachers are able to work with the students, and the students can ask questions, and that's happening right now all over Afghanistan. And I am very proud to share with you that AIL wrote 8 manual. I wrote 8 manual on that methodology, and now it's being replicated all over Afghanistan, and the children are not anymore learning by rote memorization. They are learning by participatory methodology. Thank you. Thank you very much. So what we are doing with the poverty? How is it that we can really get rid of poverty? You know, poverty is something that once it's there, it's like astigmatism, is in your forehead. You just keep going, you have enough to survive, but you don't get to the next level. Always you are in that level. Maybe you have enough in your stomach to get full, but really you are there. But what we are trying to do, we are trying to move the people from that level by providing for them a skill. And through that skill training, people are able to earn an income that they can say, well, this is my job, I am doing that, I am earning money, I am not depending on the street money. For example, a child that is going to the street and trying to bring money home, there are days that he can bring home money, there are days that he could not. In the days that he brings home money, the sibling can eat, the parents can eat, but the day that he couldn't, they could not have food. I just want to share with you a story. There was one family that I really worked with them very closely in Afghanistan. One day the children, 4 of the siblings were coming home to the school, and they were crying. And the teacher kept trying to calm them down and said, why? And they said that we lost one of our siblings. And how did you lost? And they said that because they didn't have enough wheat for the winter to make them to go through the winter for the bread. So the father sold one of his son to somebody else. It was 7 years old child. He sold it for how much? You can imagine. For 2 bags of wheat. For 2 bags of wheat, that it could last him for 3 months of winter. And when I heard that, I was very, very upset, and I felt, my God, what is this? So I made a point, I went to the father. I said, why did you do that? How did you solve this? And he started sobbing. He told me that, you know, you have a heart. Your heart has a part. And he told me my 6 children were all part of that heart of mine. When I separate one part, I separate one child, I separate a part of my heart. Why I did that? Because I wanted the other 5 parts to be strong, to live. That's the reason I do it. Not that I wanted to do it. And now you can see how people live in Afghanistan, what kind of poverty they go through. And when he said that to me, I really was very shameful, and I was very quiet, because he gave me an answer that is really, he was trying to save the other part of his family. It's not that he didn't love his child. That was he was doing. So we tried to help, we did something, and we went and we got that boy back again. But this is only one family. Thank you. This is only one family. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of families like that. Children quit school because they don't have money. They have to go work outside. The parents could not work because they needed support from the children to help them to do the field work or to do the shop work as a shopkeeper, so the children can bring an income. What AIL is doing, we bring the family, we get to know the family, we try to help the mother to get some kind of a skill training. If there is a father, we try to help the father to find some kind of job. Or we try to bring the children into school, or after school, we also try to help the children to have some job. I know it's illegal, the children to work, but in Afghanistan, it's very hard to not to work. Family must work as a unit together to be able to survive. That's the situation in Afghanistan. And you might ask today that why is like that? 30 years of war completely destroy Afghanistan. Right now, yes, we have a government for 10 years right now, we have a government. All the school is open. Yes, 6 million children are going to school. The school has been built, but still we need thousands and thousands of schools to be built. The people in Afghanistan do not have job. We don't have road, we don't have electricity, we don't have water yet. And that's the condition that the people of Afghanistan are living. And the people really taking charge by themselves, because really the government they could not rely on. The government is not supporting that much. They don't have the capacity either. They don't have the human resource. They don't know what they are doing. It's like sort of a whoever comes in power, who is stronger, who has more money to buy the seat. So as a result, there is not some system set up that is really paying attention to the poor or to the children. So because of that, AIL decided that we are going to train the women of Afghanistan. And today, another good news I want to share with you, that the women of Afghanistan are very strong. They are holding job, they are working long hours, and they are really taking a participation in a political arena. They want to be a member of the parliament. They want to be a leader, because they decide they do not want the country to run the way it was running before. And that is... And that's good news, because as a woman gets stronger, she has a stronger family. As a woman gets to go to medical school, be a doctor, which we do provide. We have a nursing program. Also, we have 6 clinics, that in each clinic we have side-by-side curative medicine and also prevention, going side by side. As a result, women are learning. They are learning to be healthier, stronger. We provide for them a reproductive health workshop, which means that we teach them how to have child space, that they do not have too many children. And sometimes people ask me, well, is it possible in Afghanistan, in a country that they are so religious, so strict, that they can use child spacing or any kind of method? Yes, they are. They are using it, because they are asking questions. They know their life is where they are stand is because they are not healthy. So in order to be healthy, in order to have a smaller family, to be able to support their family, so they participating. We teach many workshops, but do you know that there are times that we have a lineup for the workshop women, from village to village, city to city, community to community. AIL work in 7 provinces of Afghanistan. We provide support for 350,000 women and children. And in each one of these programs, we have 8 clinics, we have 1 hospital, and we have 40 women learning centers. And every one of them still is not sufficient. People stand on the line to get into the program, and we are not able to do it because we don't have enough resource. What we have, we could do so little, and there are so much to be done. but the life of the children are changing. They are transforming. They are learning very well. They are very bright. Sometimes I talk to people, I said, I can really bring the children from my preschool to this country, and they will be able to compete, and they will be able to be the first one. You know why? Because they study so hard, they listen so carefully, and they are so anxious to learn. In a preschool, they learn 3 languages. They learn Pashto, Farsi, and English. They learn all their alphabet and 3 languages in that preschool in the age of 5 and 6 years. And that's the way the children are excited to learn. And when they go to the 1st grade, most of my preschool children, they pass the 1st grade and 2nd grade because they are so bright. Once their environment is happy, they learn very, very fast. And that's the reason I really believe that the environment also a very important part of a child. If you have a happy environment, if you have a happy space, if they can play, they grow faster and they learn better. And that's through experience I learned that, although I know that that is real true, but through my own eyes, I saw that in Afghanistan. A child who come to the school the first day, cry and go behind her mother, holding her mother chador, and doesn't want to come in front. After a month of that school, he or she start introducing himself, start talking about how good is school, what's his teacher's name, where he lives. He tell you all those things, and that's the way the children of Afghanistan live. So I really would like to share this with you because I know you hear a lot of news about Afghanistan, bad news. But there are many, many good news in Afghanistan now. And you should be proud because most of you are part of it. Your tax money is going to Afghanistan. And yes, I know some of you laugh and some of you say, are you joking? You are right. But do you know, a lot of money that went through different good organizations that you choose, those organizations are on the ground. They are doing a good job. I really want to invite you to come to Afghanistan, to see what we are doing in Afghanistan. It's all not corrupted. Yes, we have a bad government. Yes, maybe your government didn't spend the money in the right place. That I will say to you. Yes. Yes. Thank you. There have been thousands and thousands of dollars have been given to the wrong hand, to the wrong people, and has been used for the wrong purpose. If some portion of that was given to education, you could imagine what will happen to Afghanistan. You don't have to fight with weapons. Thank you. Because when people are educated, they do not want to fight. They will create a safe environment for themselves that nobody else has to come and protect them. And they will say no to those people who are horrible people in my country. And I see that day to day. Now you have women are in the street everywhere. No matter how their life horrible still is there. They get trapped later, right now, that I stand up here talking to you. They are being kidnapped today. Their children has been kidnapped from their home or going through school. But those parents, those women are not stopping because they decided that they do not want the people who ruled them before. You know who I'm talking about. So people are awakened. People are learning. And again, I have very good, many good donors that they have supported my program for almost 15 years, faithfully. And some of them came to Afghanistan, saw my program. And I really would like to send this message to them that money didn't waste it. I ran a program for $3 million, but as an asset cash is 1.5 million. The rest is come through community participation. We inquire the community to give something, and as a result, people see the quality of education that we provide, and they participate. Thousands and thousands of children are going to our program. We have from preschool to high school, from high school to university. We have different programs inside Afghanistan and also still in Pakistan, outside Afghanistan. So it is hopeful, but it's wonderful to see a joyful situation like we saw today. And I really enjoy that very, very much. And I think myself sometimes, who am I that I have so much happiness? How about the people in my country? How about those children? We have a lot of orphans. In one of my schools, I have 90 children who are orphans. They come to school without paying anything, and they are learning. And when I go places, see things, I think of those children. Can you imagine if they had toys, if they have books, if they have a classroom, what will happen to them? They were superstars. They will be superstars because they are intelligent. They are smart. But poverty destroyed them. Poverty is really make them miserable. Day to day, they go through finding a piece of bread to eat or a glass of water to make a tea with the bread to eat. I go community to community and I see those children by thousands. They are lying up in the street. When the car goes from every direction, they come. And they want money. I never give them money on the street, I never. But I see them. There were many times that I tried to collect the children from the street and put them into the program. But unfortunately, I was not successful on that program. The reason, because the parents could not survive with the other family, they have to go to work on the street. We could reach so much, but we could not do everything. We are one organization, and that's what we are doing. So anyway, I do not want to make you sad, but I want you to understand that poverty is just not that to put a food in the mouth of a child for one time or twice, or give a clothing, because that's one-time things. We must work through a long-term process. We must really change from the root. We must break that, what do you call that, that cycle or whatever you call that, it's just constantly going. We must break, and the only way we can break that cycle is through education, through early child education, because that really changed the mind. Thank you. And once the mind is changed, then they are not going to be a sheep following everybody who is saying by name of Allah, by name of God, by name of this, do this, and people just follow them. Once they learn education, even their stomach would be empty, but they really think what they want to answer to those people. And as a result, peace will be in that country, and people will take charge of their own life and make something from it. Even if they are poor, they make something meaningful in their life. And I've seen that through my own eyes, day to day in the refugee camp and now inside Afghanistan. In Afghanistan right now, there is maybe 5% of the people are so rich that I don't think any of you who are sitting in this room have that much money. They are that much rich. And they don't know what they are doing with their money. But the rest of the people, 95% of the people, they are struggling. And one other issue that I really would like to share with you, you know who is going to be miserable more? The poor people through a drug addiction. When the family don't have enough, the father could not work, the father or the mother going through the drug. They are taking opium. Before that wasn't in Afghanistan. Now we have 160,000 people involved in this. Most of them young women and young men. Because they are poor, they are depressed, they go and they think that I take one moment, maybe I will be out of this misery. And that's what they are doing. So not poverty, not only do that, that people are poor, they don't have good life, they are unhealthy, and also they are addicted to drug. And they are the one who will be addicted, not the rich one. The rich one knows what to do with their life. And that's we are working to. Night and day, try to help the people to get education, the women and children especially. Anyway, I really would like to talk to you more and more, but I think that my time is over, and I am not allowed to talk that much. But I want to tell you one thing, that I am so thankful that to have opportunity to be part of your group. I go in many conferences, I present to different symposium, I give different workshops. But you know, being in a group like you, most of you are teachers working with children, with young children, with older children, and coming from any country, it's really give me an honor to be amongst you. And I feel so privileged to be here. And I am so thankful to the people who invited me here. And I have so much to take from here back to home. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.